how not to react to anger when someone verbally abuses you. You, me?
Okay, I'll start first.
Okay.
Okay, so anger is something that is can be difficult to take care. Normally, I find that there is always a cause and condition why people react. Sometimes, most of the time, it's hurt, fear, and also uncertainty. And most of the time, I realize it's usually control. Because myself, I work as a guest monk at the monastery before, and also at the Newbury Monastery in Victoria. And sometimes I have to ask guests and monastic to do things that they don't feel comfortable. And I realize sometimes they can react with anger and pretty explosive. So I always wonder why people react that way. Later on I found out because some of our guests they come over to stay in the monastery. They actually come from we'll say trauma from their family. So they might have an abusive partner or abusive parents, and if that is carried on, it becomes like a trigger. One time there was a guest that was staying in the monastery, and he was using a chainsaw. So I told the guest, you can't use the chainsaw, you need to wear protective equipment in case you hurt yourself. So he got quite offended because he's an older man and he's a big guy and work in construction. And because me telling him to wear the equipment, he didn't take it lightly. So he got upset and basically gave me a lecture for 20 minutes. So instead of reacting back, because he pointed at me and said, "Do you want to leave? Do you want to kick me out?" I say, "Look, at the end of the day, I just want you to be safe." But he stand his ground, and the next day he apologized to me. So I said, "Okay, no worries." So I there was another guest coming in, so I joke around with him. I say, this guest that's coming in is maybe it's worse than you. Then he lost it again. He got upset. So he didn't handle humor lightly. But later on, I found that he did apologize, and he told me that he came from quite an abusive family, and because of his abusive father, that's why he's conditioned that way to react, to stand his ground, to respond. So sometimes when I look into it, sometimes anger can be developed, say from young. As they get older, if it's not underlying dress, then it can become worse. Because but now I'm a bit more senior. Before that, I used to get so upset with other monastic in the monastery that's misbehaving. But later on, I realized that sometimes they are carrying the trauma in the heart, and sometimes to react, it can make things worse. So being a guest monk at Newbury Monastery, I find that give people space, give people time, and give them the benefit of a doubt, and always treat them as a friend. So when you treat them as a friend, when things get out of control, they just need a space. Because the Buddha say anger is like picking up a hot coal. When you pick up a hot coal, you burn your hands, and you throw it to hit other person, but you might miss that person. But already, when anger arises, you already burn your hand. So anger can actually drive us not to sleep the whole night, to ruin our whole day. Yeah. So anger is something that we have to be careful of. Even myself, I can find myself getting really upset when people like really would say damage the vehicle in the monastery because I'm in charge of some of the vehicle. Yep. Then I need to really just calm myself. Don't make any decision when I'm angry. Yeah. Then if I'm really happy, don't make any decision. Just especially any important decision. Just to wait, cool my mind down, relax. Once the mind is clear, it's easier to come from a mind of wisdom and compassion. And if we do tell someone off, sometimes there is 7 conditions that the Buddha say before we actually admonish someone. I can't remember all of them, but I'll try and give it a go. So one is, if we do admonish someone, we have to know that our precept is well. We know our precept well. We're not doing something dodgy. So if we do something dodgy and the person is doing dodgy, then we should not admonish that person. So we must be pure in heart. Yeah. So we have not broken the same precept as the other person. We have to come from a place of loving kindness, of right intention, not to tell that person off, to basically help them out and help them to improve. So the intention is very important. So intention of helping the person, heart of loving kindness, knows all the facts. So instead of just telling someone off, you know the facts what's going on. So sometimes in the monastery, if we have two monastics arguing, the best thing to do is not to take side, just stay neutral, listen to B, and they make the complaint. Okay, yes, then listen to A, and sometimes when I listen to both sides of the party, then listen that that's true, yeah, you're right. I listen to that person. Oh, you're right, too. That's great. Then realize, okay, so it's just misunderstanding, or doing something that is not up to because it's like you see a cartoon of someone looking at the 6. So one person look at just number 6, and it says it's 6. The other person from the other side look at it, says this is 9. No, this 6, that's 9. So because of our view is tainted from our defilements and our point of view. Sometimes most times it's our sense of ego that plays in. So sometimes if we take a neutral approach to things, then you can see the solution quite easily. But sometimes if not, just have to let it be. You have to talk to the person in the right time. Not when they're tired, not when they overwork, not when they're sick, and not to admonish someone in front of the whole community. Because if you get it wrong, then it can really hurt and damage the other person.
Yeah, with anger, the Buddha says it's one of those anger and irritation, hatred, resistance. It's something which feels very unpleasant, but it usually passes quite quickly if it's not fed. So. But once it arises, what very often happens is we don't know how to handle it. We don't know what to do with it. And the most kind of natural response, which is the wrong one, but that's the one which comes up, is to take out the anger on someone else. So it makes us feel a little bit better, to try and find the culprit, to try and find someone to blame, to find something to attack. And that way we kind of forget this very burning, uncomfortable feeling in our own hearts. But one of the problems there is that it actually grows, that it actually festers, that it doesn't take care of the problem which is there. So what we need to do is to turn towards it, to understand it, to hold it, to heal it, to care for it, to make it calm down. So when you are on the other end of the stick, I think that's what the question is, isn't it? How to react to anger when someone verbally abuses you. So they are going through this process and they are directing the anger towards you. So The challenge there is to kind of learn the judo moves of meditation and Dhamma, to not let it bruise your ego. Because if that happens, then you start to be angry. And then you start to shoot back. And then the person hurts even more and is kind of defending themselves. So if you can at all, if you're safe, if it's okay to do so, pause. Don't do anything. Hold the situation. Be kind. Be compassionate. And then if you can create that container, the other person will actually realize what's going on and will realize that it hurts. And that problem is in here. And then you can find a solution to calm the situation down. But usually that's not the time to argue and to discuss and to find a solution as such. The solution is to calm things down, to extinguish the fire, to let the fire burn out. And then, later down the track, you can go and say like, okay, why are you reacting this way? What is hurting? As in your situation, the person could share, I have this hurt within me and I have this reaction pattern that comes up. And then you can do something about that. But it takes a lot. But it is possible, and with practice these kind of things happen. So when I was staying in one of the monasteries that I was helping out as a layperson in, at Ayakema's place in Germany, we would cook there. And I would every now and then cook some pizza. So I would go and buy all the ingredients and put it in the shelf and kind of be ready to do that. And then one of the guests who was staying there, who was cooking, took the thing which was in the special place for pizza later on. And it kind of hurt my ego. It's like, it's my, whatever it was. I think it was kind of pepper in olive oil, like bell pepper in olive oil. But I realized what was going on, and I understood that what is bruised is my ego and my thing that I want to use those, and it's my bell peppers. But as soon as I let go of that notion, it was okay. He was just using bell peppers. He was cooking something else for the community, for everyone else, and they enjoyed it. But we have to be able to do that shift. So that is a good example. I must have had anger and irritation before many, many times for many, many other things. But that's one example where I was able to kind of shift this kind of holding on to something. And that's something as well, like one of the jobs I usually do here is I clean the patio. And one day also Ajahn Santuti was mentioning to me, oh, I don't want to make your patio dirty. And I was like, is it my patio? It's just a patio. Yeah, I'm cleaning it. And if you put some dirt on it, okay, it's my job to clean it. That's fine. Yes, that's true. But is it my patio? No, it's just a patio. And that's a very, very deep teaching that goes to the core of what we take as ourselves and what we protect and what we fight for. The Buddha actually said, if there is leaves in the Jeta Grove, and people come and rake up those leaves and put them on a pile and burn them, do you consider them as yours? Do you care about those leaves? You say, no. Okay, if old age, sickness and death comes to your body, and it's raked into a little heap, and it's burning, do you care? Yes, I care. It's my body. But is it? So the Buddha tries to teach us that this body of ours, these mind states of ours, are not actually ours. We have an influence over them. We can, do a little bit of something, but if everything goes wrong, it's not ours. And then we can let go of these kind of things. So that's one way of letting go of anger, not having the ego allowed to be attacked and bruised, and allowing the other person to feel the hurt inside, and to feel heard, to feel supported, to feel cared for. But we can only do that if we have learned the same with our own anger. When anger arises in our own heart, that we can hold it. that we can care for it, that we can understand it, and that we can let it go.